Welcome, Expedians. My name is Rachel, and I'll be your instructor today for stretch and mobility. For class today, I recommend you find a chair, kind of like this one, 4 legs, something that has a back, and then either some space on the floor or a mat if you have it. And we are going to start on the ground today, starting with our breath, and we're going to go through a flow first on the floor, then we're going to move up and do some chair stretches today. So go ahead and start flat on your back, hands down by your side, either like straight out in front of you or bent. We're just going to find our breath here, keeping my shoulders down, taking nice deep breaths in, starting with my stomach and then expanding the chest. Then pull your stomach in, breathe out. At your own pace, a couple deep breaths here. And when you're ready, we're going to wake up our abs a little bit here. I'm going to push my lower back into the ground. You should feel some tension in your lower abdominals when you do this. I'm going to post one foot on the ground, one leg's going to come up. I'm going to drop just as low as I can without arching in my back, really pushing my lower back into the ground throughout the exercise here. Go for about 8 leg drops here. That's 3, 4. Breathe in and out with every drop. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Notice how your breathing changes when your abs are staying engaged. Other side for 8, 7, 6, 5, nice and slow. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. And bring your legs back in. Oh, we're going to work through our flow here next. I'm going to start in the tabletop position, rolling my shoulders back to arch. Breathe out, tuck your tail, relax your head to round. Rolling the shoulders back to arch. And tuck your tail and round. Next, walk your hands forward a little bit. Untuck your toes and lift your hips here for downward dog. Now, if this one's not for you, you can do a modified version on the chair here as well. And we're just going to walk out our feet, stretching our calves. Allow your head to relax between your arms. Deep breath into the stomach and out. I'm going to tuck my tail as I roll forward into a plank position here. Slowly lower my chest all the way to the floor. And then keeping my glutes engaged here. I don't want to be arching in my lower back. I'm going to roll my shoulders down and away from my ears. Arch up. Take a breath. Come back down. Tuck the toes. And back to downward dog. Pedaling the feet. Deep breath in. We're going to go through that flow again, tucking our tail. Slowly lower the chest down to the ground. Roll the shoulders back to arch. Half cover here, or if you want that extra stretch, gently press your palms up even farther. Breathe out and downward dog. One more time here, tucking the tail as we roll into a plank. Slowly lower all the way, chest to the ground, rolling those shoulders back to arch. Breathe out, tuck the feet, downward dog. Next, I'm going to bring my feet apart just a little bit. I'm going to walk my hands up all the way to my toes here. Pushing weight back on the heels of my feet and gently rounding my back, rolling up vertebra by vertebra. all the way until I get to the very top and roll my shoulders down and back. Next, I'm going to try and clasp my hands behind my back here and just straighten my arms and pull my shoulders down away from my ears as far as I can. Just enough to feel that chest and that shoulder stretch here. If you want to deepen the stretch, you can try and lift your hands up, maybe even dropping that chest down for a deep stretch here. Take a breath. And when you're ready, roll back up or release. Knee a step forward here, back leg is relatively straight, slight bend in that knee, just enough to keep my back flat. And I'm going to sink, bending my knees as much as I need to really feel that stretch in the back hip. Arms come up. I'm going to drop my chest without moving my legs or shifting my weight here, dropping my chest to my front knee, pushing my front heel through the ground to lift back up for 5, 4, 3, hold for about a second, and drop back down for 2, and 1, come up and hold. And clasp the arms across that front leg. We're going to twist across and back to center for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Step together, other side. Raise the arms up, take a breath. And drop the chest for 5. Come up and hold. And drop for 4. Drop for 3. Last 2. And last 1. And clasping the arms in front, twisting across and back to center for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And step together. Whew. All right. From here, we're going to come sitting down on our chair here. I'm going to practice some stretches that are really great, especially if you find yourself sitting for long periods in the day. I'm just going to start by rolling my ankles out here, pushing the top of my toes into the floor and rolling my ankle around. You should feel this in the top of your foot and in your shin. Next, I'm going to stretch out my forearms a little bit here. Often we don't realize how tight we get through our fingers and forearms, especially if you're on the computer. I'm going to give that a little stretch. So I'm just pointing my fingers to the ground, grabbing those fingers with my opposite hand. As I gently pull and straighten that hand, until I feel that stretch right through here. Back and forth, holding for about a second, for as long as it's comfortable, and switch. Hitting the other side, I'm going to make a fist and pull that fist towards my inner arm here, grabbing with that opposite hand. Same thing, straightening out as I gently pull. Alternating both sides, back and forth. And shake out those wrists a little bit. I want to practice some shoulder shrugs here, because when we're at the computer, we tend to kind of start to round or hunch our shoulders up. So I want to practice that good posture by just lifting my shoulders to my ears and then actively pulling them down my back. So I don't just want to drop my shoulders here. I want to drop and just pull down my back, really feeling that activation in my shoulder blades here as I shrug and pull. We want to remind ourselves to use these back muscles, especially when you're lifting or running. I want to try and keep those shoulders down. A couple more here, shrugging and actively pull those shoulders down your back. All right, roll it out a little bit. Next, we're going to drop one leg down, or we're going to bring both of our legs down. Bring your hands to the ground here. I'm going to have you bring one foot up and place the top of your foot on the top of that chair. Bring your hands to one side, and you're going to bring that opposite leg up into a lunge position here. Now you're going to slowly bring your chest up, just enough until you feel that stretch right through that quad right here, and you're going to hold. Find that point of tension, never pain, so be sure to come up nice and slow until you find that stretch. And breathe. A couple deep breaths. Holding a few more seconds here. For 4, 3, 2, and go ahead and bring those hands back down to the inside of the foot. Bringing that foot down and releasing off of the chair. And go ahead and switch to the other foot. Bring your hands to one side, up into that lunge, and slowly bring your chest up, placing your hands on that top leg until you find that stretch. Now you might need to adjust where your knee is on the floor. It might feel better if you're a little bit closer or a little bit farther away, depending on how deep you want to stretch. And breathe through that tension, pulling breath into the belly, and drawing the belly in to breathe out. Rest 4, 3, 2, 1, and drop your hands down and bring those feet together. And go ahead and come up on your knees here right in front of your chair. I'm going to have you bring your hands to the back of your chair as you lean back, putting some weight into your hands. Bring one leg out in front of you here. I really like the chair support for any kind of hamstring stretch. We do have a tendency to overstretch and underuse that muscle group back there, which is often why we end up with hamstring tears in a lot of different sports. What we're going to do is just gently push our hips back as we lean our chest forward, just enough until you feel that stretch in the front leg. Remember, that's going to look different for everyone. You might feel the stretch way down here. You might feel it right in this position. We're going to just do a little flex and point in that foot, nice and slow. Feeling your hip kind of pull forward and back. Feeling your calf stretch change. And breathe. Using that chair for support, leaning back on it as much as you need to here. And rolling out the ankle just a little bit. Go ahead and bring your leg back, other side. Finding that lean position. And flex and point that foot. Keep it active here. Leaning forward just as much as you need to. Feel that stretch. And roll out that ankle a little. And bring your leg back in. Next, we're going to move back onto our mat here, taking a long step forward. Then lean into a hip flexor stretch here. We really want to feel this in front of that back hip. Not to arch in my lower back, but keeping my back neutral here, my pelvis tucked under. And find that point of tension. And breathe. Next, I'm going to drop my hands to the inside of the foot, untuck my back toe, straighten that leg, bring my foot back into a plank. Slowly lower my chest all the way to the ground, roll the shoulders back for cobra. Take a breath. Lower back down, tuck the toes, downward dog. Pedal the feet. Feeling how this stretch has changed. Might feel like you get a little bit deeper into those calf rocks. And relax your head between your hands. Allow your shoulders to drop away from the ears. Now you're going to bend your legs and you're going to either walk your feet up or jump to the top of your mat. And I'm going to tuck my hands underneath my toes here, bending your legs as much as you need to, and just a small bend and straighten. I'm going to keep my back flat. Keeping weight in the heels of my feet, not crushing my hands here. 3, 2, 1. Untuck your hands and slowly roll up vertebra by vertebra, walking your hands up your legs. You come to the top and roll those shoulders down and back. Long step back. I'm going to drop my hands to the inside of that front foot, keeping that back leg straight. Now bring one hand up behind your head. We're going to twist over that top leg for 8. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop that hand down. Bring the knee down. Try to bring the heel behind you and just pulse. Nice and gentle, just a small pull here. You go ahead and rise back up, either hip flex or stretch. If you're on that opposite leg from last time, stay there, or go ahead and switch your legs to the other side. Pull the belly in, keeping our back flat here, hips pointed forward. Just find that point of tension and hold. Deepen the stretch, you can bend farther on that front leg or squeeze the glute of that back leg to push your hips forward. And go ahead and drop your hands to the inside of the foot. Untuck that toe. Bring that knee up. Front leg comes back to our plank position. Slowly lower down, chest all the way to the floor. Roll the shoulders back. Or full cobra. Take a breath. And release. Chest comes back to the floor. Tuck your toes. Downward dog. And breathe. Relax your head. Pedal the feet. Bending at those knees. Walk or jump your feet to the top of your mat. Rounding my back just a little bit here, weight in the heels of the feet, and rolling up vertebra by vertebra all the way to the top, rolling those shoulders back. Long step back. Opposite leg from last time here. We want to drop our hands to the inside of that foot, bringing my hand behind my head, twisting across, up across that top leg for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop that hand to the inside of the foot. Bring that foot back into a plank position. Slowly lower down all the way to your chest. Roll the shoulders back. Take a breath. Release. Down to your chest, tuck your toes, and downward dog. Breath in and out. Just hold this position here. And drop your knees to the ground. Sitting up on our heels here. I'm going to go for some neck stretches. Starting by tilting my head to one side. Just gently letting the weight of my head draw that ear to that shoulder. Back and forth at your own pace. And looking over our left shoulder, hold for about a second, and over the right. Back and forth, holding just as long as you need to. Feel that stretch. And half circles here, left ear to left shoulder, rolling my chin forward, right ear to right shoulder. Back and forth, just going for half circles. If you choose to go for a full circle, be sure there's some space behind your head and your neck. Lifting that chest to the ceiling as you look up to the sky. To go all the way around. Last one. And switch direction. Good. And relax. Come back to your center. Next, I'm going to go for a hip stretch here. I'm going to lean back onto my back on my mat here. One leg's coming up of my knee here. I'm going to reach through and grab this opposite leg and pull towards me just as much as I need to feel that stretch in the hip of that top leg. Hold. Deep breath in. Fight that tension in and release out. And go ahead and switch legs, dropping your feet to the ground. And actively pushing our legs together here, even without using my hands. Really deepen that stretch. Invite that tension in and release with every breath. And go ahead and drop your legs down. I'm going to finish in a downward dog position here today. Or I'm sorry, a child's pose. So I'm going to bring my knees apart, drop my, sitting onto my feet here. I'm going to bring my arms in front of me with my palms facing away from each other. I'm going to cross my hands one on top of the other. My palms are put together. And I'm just going to slowly round my back and reach my hands forward until I feel that stretch in my shoulder blades. Relax. Deep breath in. Out. Okay, pull forward just a little bit farther to deepen the stretch. Tuck your chin to your chest. And release. And walk your hands down and rest your forehead on the ground. And I'm going to walk my hands to one side and drop my forehead back down. And walk the hands to the other side. And come back to center. You can finish in your child's pose today, recentering yourself, refocusing for the day. And that is all I have for you, Expedia. Be sure to drink lots of water, get some healthy, nutritious food, some exercise, and I'll see you very soon.